talk a little bit about rendering. Rendering is actually not as complex as you might think. If we can simplify it into five values, we're going to call this the five value rendering system. So first, let's start with a box. Let's pick the values that we're going to use. So first, let's choose a highlight. Since my background is white, I just want to pick something that you'll be able to see. So we'll say this is our highlight, but not quite white. Well, something like that. Oh, I'm on multiply. I'm like, why is it getting darker? Okay, so that's our highlight. Now let's pick our light tone. So this is what this box will look like in the light. We'll say that. Now let's pick our midtone. This is something where it's still in light, but it's moving to shadow. Now let's pick our tone. This is shadow. This is probably going to be the biggest jump. That looks good to me. And shadow. So now let me label these for you. This will be highlight, light tone, halftone, uh, tone. You can say dark tone, but I just like tone. And then shadow. Now let me separate these. These three are my lights. These two are my shadows. So let me go ahead and draw and show you how this works. So first, I want to separate my box, or sorry, I want to separate my forms into their most basic, which is light and shadow. So I fill it all in with, I do my, like the middle value of my light, and then I'm going to pick my shadow. Right? Now I'm saying the light's coming from sort of this direction. So now let me pick my highlight, sort of catching the edge here. And I'm going to slowly kind of fade it back. Now, keep in mind that I am not actually, well, these may be considered other tones here, somewhere between halftone and light tone. I'm only choosing this, and then I'm using my edge control really, to fade it back, right? And then I'm going to use my shadow tone for cast shadow. And then if I want, I can use my kind of darker halfer tone over here, but I may not even have to, you know? Yeah. So there you go. You got a box. Now let's draw a slightly more complex, well, not terribly more complex, but let's do something with like a bit of a bevel to it. So let's draw a box. Just like before. Let's bevel the side. Erase these out so I have like a clear silhouette to work with. Let's do it again. Same lighting setup. I'm gonna fill my beveled box in. I'm going to choose the middle of my light tone. Now let's draw my shadow. My tone. This is my shadow side. Let's draw that cast shadow in there. And I'm going to darken that. But right now, I'm just separating my box into light and dark. So now, once it's light and dark, right, I can use my highlight or my halftone for the light side, but I cannot use that in my shadows, right? Like, this is okay. I can use my highlight there. I can use my halftone here. They can only go where the light is, where I've already determined. I cannot put halftone here. You cannot be like, ooh, I want bounce light. Now, you sort of can, but it's actually, no, you can't. That's going to be a hard, fast rule. Unless you want your thing to look really chromy, like it's made of chrome, I guess you can, but you probably don't want that. Instead, you want to stick to your 5-value rule. Now I'm going to go ahead and darken up my cast shadow. And if I really want, I can add a core shadow. Meaning like I'm going to use this, my shadow tone for both my core shadows and my cast shadows. But it probably doesn't need a core shadow since it's a very hard edge. So I'm going to leave it as this. And then as a note, I'm just going to paint over that line. Because that is where, that's my highlight. That's where my light is hitting it and reflecting back. Okay, let's do it again. Because I want to show you guys as many examples as I can. So let's take that beveled edge and let's do that again, but we'll round it. Same idea. We get really the exact same result, or I mean, not the exact same, but a similar result, but our highlight softens out. I'm going to use the same values. Separate my lights from my darks. And my cast shadow here. And I'm just estimating these things. Now, let me add in my highlight. Now, if I were to make this a really hard highlight, I'm saying that my transition from this plane to this plane is very hard. It's something like that. If I make this a soft highlight, right, if I soften this up, make it have a bigger transition, I'm saying my transition from this plane to this plane is like that. It's much more rounded. It's much more subtle. Now I can put my halftone in there, right? Just like we did here. See, there's a halftone. Put it right there. And I like to put a little bit at the back too. I call that a turning edge. Just means like this edge is moving away from us in light. So I put my halftone back there a little bit. Okay. So let's do a more complex shape, a ribbon, and then get you guys going on the homework because I have to be somewhere as well. All right, let's go ahead and draw that. Let's do the same thing as before. I'm gonna fill it in with my tone, or not my tone, sorry, my light tone. Then I'm gonna separate out my shadows with my tone, my shadows to be here. Now I have a clear light side and dark side and clear light side and shadow side. It's not that specific, but anyway, now remember I keep my lights together and I keep my shadows together. I don't mix them up. Let me go ahead and merge these so I can paint over my lines here. I highlight and kind of bring that back a little bit. There's my highlight. I'm gonna soften that as it goes back. And actually, I'll get a highlight right here in the middle as this soft plane kind of moves towards us. And then I'll put my halftones where I did in the past, right? Like right there, moving down, right here, moving down, and a turning edge there at the back. So it's actually, fairly simple. Now let's talk about rendering a ribbon